Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World, and I wanted to take a second to talk about something that I just saw in the media that leads to kind of a mixed reaction from me. A little bit of congratulations, but it's a reserved kind of congratulations. It goes to Miss Viola Davis, who's an extraordinary actress who just won, from what I understand, Best Actress for an Emmy. For her performance in How to Get Away with Murder. Now, I think that's great, for her if that's something that's important to her. She's obviously an amazing actress. No black woman in history has ever received Best Actress before with the Emmys. And I think that to some extent there are people who are celebrating. But what's interesting though is we have to really reframe and reshape what we are saying when we brag about these sort of first black blank, first black this, first black that. Now, there was a long time in my life where I really thought that that was an achievement, right? The first black person to graduate from Harvard, first black person to win some other award, first win an Oscar or an Emmy and all these other meaningless awards that I don't really pay much attention to. And I used to think that was important, but what I figured out was that if you really think about white supremacy, and you really look at what white supremacy says whiteness is better than blackness. That whiteliness is godliness, meaning the closer you are to whatever white America standard has been, the more accepted you are by white Americans, the better you are as a human being. So that means that if you get no acceptance from whites, then you have very little value in this society. That's what it kind of says, right? We have to move ourselves spiritually, psychologically, and physically to their neighborhood, but there's no value in them moving to our neighborhood. That being associated with blackness, or excuse me, with whiteness is a step up, but being associated with blackness is a step down. That's what you accept. So what you're saying is that that white kid who starts off in mainstream white America, who starts off in the white neighborhood, in white culture, that he by default is starting the race ahead of your black child who may be immersed in blackness, around black people, doing black stuff, thinking like a black person, valuing black people. We got to get away from that. um, you know, every time you hear a black person brag about being accepted into Yale University, go and ask yourself how often do you hear about a white person brag about being accepted into Howard or Morehouse or one of these other historically black colleges? They tend to have black students, but actually don't have as many African American professors as they should. In fact, many of these institutions were founded by whites. Go one day look up the founder of every favorite HBCU you know of, and Spelman or Howard University, etc. And look at who founded these schools, and then ask yourself, are those even our institutions? I mean, they may not even be our institutions. It's all debatable, but a lot of people will say that an institution is a black institution because it has black students. Well, just because it's filled with black people doesn't mean black people control the institution. The analogy I've used before is that the chicken coop may be full of chickens, but that does not mean that the chickens are running the place, right? And so if you go to many of these institutions, you go to. I challenge you. I want you to do this. If you don't, if you're skeptical of what I have to say, don't believe me. Please don't. Go look it up. Go look. In fact, you should be skeptical. I want you to go look this up if you're not sure. Look up, for example, how many African American professors there are in the business school of most major HBCUs. Go look up how many African American professors there are in the sciences. What you're going to probably find in a lot of HBCUs is a lot of people from China, a lot of people from India, etc. So even these institutions, in many cases, aren't really ours. We're part of them, but they're not really ours. But that's the closest, one of the closest examples I can think of. So you're not really going to see a white person brag about being accepted into a black university, or white people lining up and waiting and leveraging their self-esteem on whether or not they receive an acknowledgement or an award from the Black Panthers. They're not all going out looking for approval from Dr. Umar Johnson or from black organizations, right? They're looking. They're already in their space. They're already home. They get to play in the home field. We're always visitors on the home field. So that's all I really want to say. It isn't to take anything away from Viola Davis, but we really got to rethink this whole concept of integration. And what integration does in terms of disintegrating the solidity of your blackness is to make your blackness a little more digestible. It's to take that black coffee, that strong black coffee, pour some milk in it and make it easier on the stomach, right? And so that's to some extent both physically and socially and otherwise. We are told consistently to water down our blackness to make it a little more digestible for the whites who are in power. And personally, I just kind of realize that that's not really something I'm interested in doing. And the thing is that we have to get to a point as a community where there's something that we don't have to do. Like, for example, in the Black Wealth Boot Camp, we've had about 30 businesses come out of the Black Wealth Boot Camp since we started. And I've told them our job, our goal is to create as much business as we possibly can because we're creating an economy. Because what you find is that when white people are not paying your bills, you're not as afraid to say what's on your mind. Someone said that to me the other day. She said, "You know what? You see, the things you say about incarceration, I can't say publicly because you're financially independent and I'm not." And I agreed with that, and I thought about that, and I said, okay, I think the one of the key objectives for our community is to find as many ways as possible to be financially independent. So if you really want to be free in America, here's how you do it. Real simple. Obtain your financial independence by any means necessary. That's very, very important. If you accomplish that goal, then you will be free to say and do whatever you want. You'll have to still work hard. You'll still have to, if you have a business, you have to serve your customers. You can't just sort of walk around and be irresponsible with this power. You can't be arrogant with this power, but you can be fulfilled with this power. So that's all I really want to say. Viola Davis, no knocks against her or anything like that, but I personally think that these Emmys and these Oscars and these Grammys and all these other award shows that white people have created for themselves, we need as black people to have scenarios, institutions where we honor African Americans that we respect. And we shouldn't be picketing and hoping to ask for permission so that other people will acknowledge us and tell us that we're special. Don't wait for a white man to tell you you're a good person. Don't wait for a white man to tell you that you're a smart person. Don't wait for a white man to tell you that you're a worthy person. You are somebody, no matter what. You are worthy from the you were worthy from the day you were born. Don't let anybody take that away from you. That's all I want to say. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins. If you want to take my class, you can take my class at theBlackWealthBootcamp.com or also theBlackWealthAcademy.com. Check those out. That's all I want to say. Until we meet again, please stay strong, be blessed, and be educated. I am gone. Peace.